Hey guys, today's day 15, I believe, of the Bible reading plan. And today I'm going to read a few verses from Matthew 11. John the Baptist is in prison at this moment, and he hears about what Jesus is doing. And then for some reason, he sends some of his followers to Jesus. And he says, "Are you the one who is to come, or shall we look for another?" So at that moment, John the Baptist is doubting. He's sitting in prison. He's like, I was preparing the way for Messiah, and then I see him, and he was supposed to save us, but now I'm in prison. Stuff's not adding up. So he's like, Jesus, are you really the Messiah, or do I need to look for someone else? Because if not, then let me know. And then Jesus tells his John the Baptist followers to go and tell John what you hear and see. The blind receive their sight and the lame walk. Lepers are cleansed and the deaf hear and the dead are raised up. And the poor have good news preached to them. And blessed is the one who is not offended by me. And as the disciples of John leave, Jesus turns to the crowd. And talking about John, he says, "What did you go into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken by the wind? What then did you go out to see? A man dressed in soft clothing? Behold, those who wear soft clothing are in kings' houses. What then did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, I tell you, and more than a prophet." So, Jesus tells, I'm going to first focus on what Jesus told his, John's followers. He's like, tell John what I'm doing. Tell John what's happening. Tell John about the blind seeing, the deaf hearing, the lame walking, the dead being raised. Tell him about the good news that's being preached, the same good news that he preached himself. Tell him the kingdom of God is here, and there's no reason to doubt. Then when he's talking to the crowd, he's like, you didn't come to see someone shaken. You didn't come to see someone doubt. You came because this man is a prophet. This man is from God. And I want to tell you guys, do not lose sight of who you follow. Do not lose sight of the Messiah, of God, and of who God says. It's so easy to doubt when bad things happen. It's so easy to question your faith when things don't go right and things don't add up. Like, I'm going to be completely transparent real quick. Many of you guys know when I went to Master's Commission, I was, full throttle. I thought that this was what God wanted me to do, that I heard from God. And then when I left, I was devastated. That all of last year, I was struggling with my faith. I was struggling with me trusting God and trusting when I heard God's voice. But I don't know how to say it. But God was still faithful. There's a song that Elevation Worship sings. It's called "Do It Again," and he goes, I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again." And that's what Jesus is saying. Jesus is telling John the Baptist, like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I've done. Have faith in me. Do not doubt me. Blessed is the one who's not offended by me. Blessed is the one that does not doubt me. And I'm not saying that there will be times where we don't doubt, but there's always times within that doubt where we need to hold on to the truth. And if we lose sight of the truth of who God is, then we can be swayed. We can be the reed swayed by the wind that Jesus is talking about. John the Baptist wasn't that. John the Baptist was the messenger preparing the way for the Messiah. John the Baptist grew up with Christ. They were cousins. John the Baptist knew, but even in his darkest time, he doubted. And even in the darkest times of our lives, we might doubt, but don't lose sight of who God is. Don't lose sight of who God is now. He is still the person that heals the blind and who makes the lame walk and the deaf hear and who raises the dead. He is still the God that provides for us, who split the Red Sea in half so that the Israelites could walk through. He is still that God. He is still God. Don't lose sight of that. Hold on to it. Be strong. Have faith and trust in God.